Hey everybody, welcome to Intuitive Art with Influencers. I'm your host, Carrie Roldan. I'm joined today, as always, with the amazing creator and founder of the Intuitive Art Academy, Rachel Archelaus. Hello, Rachel. And the amazing, beautiful, wonderful, wise, grounded, adventurous woman, just an incredible influencer of business owners in so many ways, Karen Fritz. Hello, Karen. So Karen, I want to introduce you, and I was just telling you before we went live, I'm going to read one line of your bio, and then I'm going to talk about you for a minute. So Karen's professional bio starts like this. Entrepreneur, inventor, author, speaker, and coach, Karen Fritz is your guide to bridge the inner and outer worlds. Then it goes on to talk about how she's like a total brain nerd, like she understands neuroscience and she brings practical magic. And that is why I love you, Karen. That is why I love the way that you influence me, is you are like so nerdy brain smart and so like wise sage shaman woman. You are just the perfect melding of that. And I always get, anytime I talk to you, like literally practical magic. I get such a balanced, also very feminine approach to whatever it is I'm working on. So Karen Fritz, hello and welcome.
Hi, I'm happy to be here. I think that there are areas in our life where we have mastery, right? Whether it's intellectual or skills based, but just the word mastery is pretty masculine. And if you take the feminine form of that word, it's mystery. And when you bring the mastery and the mystery, that's when you get that magical.
Do you guys see this? I mean, you get it now, right? So Karen, we call this show Intuitive Art with Influencers because we do intuitive art with people who have influence and impact inside their niche. And you do this in several different ways, but just talk to me about who are your people?
I'm really providing the evolutionary coaching for our conscious business owners, the folks who have micro business or small business and realize that as the business grows and they achieve that, they have grown and changed in the process. And so it's really easy to outgrow what you've dreamed. And then you need to recognize that, recognize how to step into and make intentional your next level of growth and dream a new dream that'll meet you there.
I just have to say that it's so funny because Carrie and I were having the conversation of how do we match ourselves up with what we've created? Because it was obvious that the business we work on together was in a new place, and I had the idea of what we could do to match up with it, but we just kind of like went through that whole process of okay, let's get on the same page with this thing and let it do what it wants to do. So I love that. I can totally see that.
Yeah, it's all about staying in relationship with it, right? Setting out some predetermined plan and doing all the things and making the milestones and doing the plan is kind of an outdated way of living. Right now, it's much more around what's emergent, what's here now that I need to be in relationship with, that the plan never saw this coming.
Yeah. So how did you get into this work?
All of it. A lot of the spiritual side, like I have enjoyed exploring just about every spiritual path there is. And what I found was every path I looked at, the divine would meet me there. And, you know, if you have a woman who has like 4 failed marriages, you start to look at what's the common denominator here. And what I realized was, oh, if the divine meets me everywhere, it's because I'm carrying that, right? I am the divine showing up in each of these ways. And it was just as true in my entrepreneurial endeavors. where I would be doing highly technical work and realize there's my experience of flow. That's my real addiction. I'm not really addicted to adrenaline, right? The motorcycle riding and all that's great, but the addiction is the experience of flow, which I'm sure you know as an artist is another access point to that. And when I started to realize, oh, there's flow when I'm doing programming or computer development, and there's flow when I'm dropping in and doing coaching and working with somebody in the shadow world, and there's flow when I'm out riding my motorcycle. It's like, that's the common thread for me.
So I just want to touch on that because I didn't bring that up from your bio. You are like, you and Rachel have this whole van life thing in common. This whole just like, hey, I'm going to live in my van and run my business from the road. And you are like, yeah, this is the thing that I love about you, Karen. You're like this sweet, mild-mannered, very feminine presenting, like leather-wearing biker chick, like grease monkey. I mean, you're like in there fixing, and I love that about you. For some reason, it is unexpected. And same with like, I see you here with the flowy hair and talking about magic, and you're like, oh, and I'm a computer programmer. I just love the blending of that.
All the things.
Yeah. Well, and that's what Rachel and I talk so much about, becoming fully embodied. And, you know, when you were talking about flow, so you had two words that you said your addiction is flow, right? And I can tell that when whatever you're in, when you're in the flow, right, you're in that fully embodied state. But you also used the word path a couple of times, a couple of different ways, right? When I'm on my path, the spiritual path, whatever path I'm on, the divine meets me there. And I know one of the ways that I introduced you as an inventor, I know you've invented a game. I don't know of any other inventions, but if you have them, tell me about them. But your game is called Path. So tell me about that.
Right. So that game is actually the distillation of the business ecosystem thinking. What I noticed was, as I was coaching with various small business owners, they'd be awesome at that thing that they do, their craft, and they love it. And contrary to the E-Myth back in the 90s, which was all about you have to stop being the technician and be the CEO, they don't want that. They want to stay engaged in what they love and kind of wish that business stuff would just like do itself. So I invented the game Path to bring all my business knowledge down to something that people could really engage in through nature metaphors. So your business strategy and vision are all pictures of mountains, and they are all pictures from my motorcycle travels. And then your plans and actions and automation is all pictures of forests and trees. And the rivers that water this whole ecosystem represent the flow of your essence in your business. And that's what allows your business to become a path for your personal and planetary transformation.
I'm just looking at you, Rachel, because I feel like this is your life. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm trying to picture it in my head. Is it like a deck game? Is it a board game?
It's a deck game, and Jean Barry helped me to invent it. So this is my original set here with my tiles, and you just lay them out and do a little reading. And if you do it once, you know, it's like an oracle deck. But as you use the system over and over, it starts to build this business thinking. Oh, it's time to climb a new mountain. Oh, I need to have a forest in the trees day, right? And so it really builds a language that allows the business side of things to become inherently sustainable.
I really love that. I was reading your bio that we didn't read. Part of it was talking about how you help people find the right business model. And I know from working with a lot of new entrepreneurs that they don't even know what a business model is. And so the idea that they're customizing it for themselves without even having to know all the different options they have, I think is really beautiful and intuitive. So I'm interested for sure.
Yay.
And I love it because, you know, I love me a good metaphor. And the game is called Path, and it helps entrepreneurs find their path. And the game is the path, right? Like just sitting down and playing your way to your business decisions, that is the path.
Right. I've really loved that. My thought in creating it was that it was going to teach the business ecosystem side. More than half of the people that play it regularly actually have the business structure and they get that part. What they were yearning for was the intuitive access. And so they play the game because it actually brings their intuition into their business environment.
And now you're speaking our language.
Right?
So what a perfect segue, because what we do on this show is you are someone who has actually been introduced to intuitive art before. I know you've played with Jean Berry. That's part of her process, right? When she's helping people develop their games, intuitive art is a part of her onboarding. And you've also worked with our friend Cynthia Carrere. So these are two certified intuitive artists. So I know you've been exposed to the method before. But what we do on this show is we bring people who are influencers in their industry and their niche. We talk about them and what they've got going on. And then we're like, all right, how can we help you? Right? Like, how can we help you with intuitive art? And I was reading your, we love it when they're brand new because minds are blown every time. But we know what we know about intuitive art, and I know what you know, is our minds are blown every time anyways. So we're about to blow your mind, Karen. Right? But giving you that same way that when people play your game, they feel like they have tangible access to their intuition. Right? I think we all know we have access. It's if we're able to trust it. And one of the most beautiful things about intuitive art or an oracle deck or the path game, right, is that you can hold it in your hands and you can look at it and point to it and refer to it and be like, my intuition said. And so when I was reading your intake form, which you filled out who knows how long ago, it was talking about your marketing strategy. And so I found this really interesting because it was about, I know you were using small gameplay nights and you were living the van life and traveling all over the country and having a lot of fun, introducing people to your path game, which it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like that's sort of a gateway into working with you one-on-one.
Yeah, definitely.
Which, I mean, perfect. But you were doing that in small group settings. And at this moment that we're recording, we are in a period of social distancing where that's not happening. So I'm wondering, it's okay if your question isn't around that anymore, but I'm wondering if you've got if it's how you market your game question, if you've got a completely different question. But yeah, what's on your mind?
You know, what's really been up for me is a stark realization that I have insights and wisdom and a way of being able to communicate that allows somebody to feel comfortable dropping into their land of shadow, like they're not going in alone, and they can actually shift their worldview so that new possibilities are just, well, of course, right? And it's a real gift. And I'm fucking awesome at it. I didn't ask you if words were okay here. Sorry.
Oh, good. I want you to read that F-bomb thing publicly sometime, but I'm so excited you said that. Keep going.
And there are people out there who have had their business for a couple of years. They're like, what's up? Why is this scratchy? Or I want a little bit more, or what's the next horizon? And I have invented so many things to bridge that, right? To put out there, be visible, stand as my lighthouse. Like, this is what I do. Here it is, come and get some. And almost none of those very creative things have reached the other shore, right? And so my question is around, I have 2 books, I have a game, I have a couple of different quizzes that I've developed. I've got all these things because I'm a creative person too. At this point, right, is there something that I have already created that would actually get the rainbow all the way to the other end of the pot of gold, right? From what's been gifted here that is to be used in service, all the way to those who are meant to use it. Is it something that I've already created? Is there another avenue that's wanting to open up? Really letting go, letting the existing structures fall and saying, what's new here now that is going to be the best way to actually make that connection so the electricity can flow through the circuit and people can be served.
So here's where I jump in. So what is the outcome that you're wanting? What is the easiest way for my work to reach customers or clients? What is the easiest way for my work to be engaged with by clients?
Yeah, either of those would be accurate. I would say, what is easiest, most joyful, most effective, viable way for that connection to be made, where people are able to recognize how what I can offer actually serves them and moves them forward.
But we want more than that, right? Because you want them to pay you too, right?
Right. I want them to engage with me so that their business can flourish.
Yes.
I can't afford a world in which all the small businesses go under, right? I want them to be sustainable and I want their business to flourish. And yes, I do want to be paid along the way.
And you want your business to flourish.
Right.
Yes. Okay. So Carrie, what do you think?
So I started writing, what is the easiest, most joyful, most viable way? And that's when I stopped. So I feel like it's for, I feel like it's Karen. I think what you're asking, Karen, is how to reach them and have them raise their hand and say yes, right? Like it's in the reaching of them that they recognize, you're my person, I want to pay you, right? So what is the easiest, most joyful, most viable way for Karen?
I have to engage clients.
Okay.
Yeah, because that implies a lot.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I have a favor to ask, Karen. I'm not going to make you do this if you don't want to, but while we are drawing, would you please look up that thing with all the F-bombs in it for me? Will you pull that up on your computer? You may or may not say it live on this show, but it's something for you to do while Rachel and I are drawing, because at the very least, I want Rachel to hear it.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll get drawing to answer your question, and we'll be back with you in a minute.
Excellent.
Oh my God, Carrie, it's like the same freaking thing.
That's funny. This is like the tiniest drawing I've ever done. Normally they take up the whole page. You got just a little bit. So I'm going to write my words on here. So Rachel, you first this time.
Okay. So Karen, here is what I got for you. The base is blue, even though it looks a little purple in the monitor. And that is my alignment color. And then on top of that is my reddish orange, which is all about strategy. And so this is what you're wanting to know. You're wanting to know about the strategy, like what will work to help these clients see all the amazing things that you've created for them that will help them thrive. But first has to come the alignment. So as you were talking about your question, I noticed that the viewpoint from where you were is that they weren't thriving and that your work wasn't reaching them and that the rainbow hadn't made it to the other side yet. And so you're seeing from an alignment that is of things not working. And so if you switch your alignment to match with customers engaging with you, even if it feels like it's not quite at the level that you want yet, there have been people who've worked with you. There have been people who've enjoyed what you do. So if you just focus on that, if you focus on that, your work has helped people and it does help people when they use it. It is helping people right now. This work has been inspired by the idea of businesses thriving, and you do have experience helping them create even more than they thought they could. Like, go over in your mind and get into alignment with everything that you're wanting, that you're on the path to. Like, your path is to success. Your path is successful for you and for them. So cultivate that alignment and create that as the base. And then when you're feeling that, when you're in that zone, then the strategy will come to you. It won't be something you have to think about. It'll be a thought. You know, like you're in the shower and this thought pops into your head, oh, I could do this. That would be so great. Or, oh my gosh, I could call this person. You know, maybe they wanted you to come to them, but you couldn't, so you're going to do it a different way. Or, you know, in the Intuitive Art Academy, we just started doing virtual home parties. So, you know, like but those ideas will come to you effortlessly if you create the right foundation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, cool.
Cool. Okay, Carrie.
As always, mine is not too far off, right? Same basic themes. But so for those of you who have not seen intuitive art before, the color meanings are not universal. They are personal. So Rachel's red and my red don't mean the same thing. Sometimes they do, but here they don't. And I've never read a drawing like this, but when I just showed you the drawing, I said, I've never done one this small before, right? My drawings tend to like take up the whole page. I'm wanting to interpret that to mean that the white in this drawing has meaning, right? The blank space in this drawing has meaning. And for me, white is, and it's purity, it's openness, and it's angelic guidance. And so I think that that's sort of the base of all of this, right? The base of everything is what you were saying in the beginning, like, I just want to surrender it all, right? And be open to whatever's coming through. So that is your foundation, right? Which is alignment. And then, well, the first thing that I put down is actually this like upward spiral. And that is, there's two different colors of brown on this drawing. So the first, that upward spiral is a combination of red and brown, which are the other two colors on here. So it's basically, your answer is red, brown, and red, brown. And this upward spiral has to do with grounded action. And that's all it means. But so the other two colors are important because the brown is, it's solid, it's rooted, it's grounded. And the thing about this darker brown color is it often means slow down, a slow pace. And so I find it interesting that your upward spiral, right? There's this upward spiral of grounded action. But on top of it, right, there's this winding path. There's this, like, the path to the upward spiral has twists and turns. But it's all about being solid being grounded, being rooted, which for you, I think is your natural, it's how you present. I don't know if it's your natural state, but I know that you remember that easily. But the other color that's important that's all over it, and it's interesting the way I drew it because it started out as hash marks, like tiny little hash marks, and then it got bigger and started to get on the path. And that color, so that my red color is a double-edged sword, Karen, because it is passion and fervor and excitement. And I say that it feels like running really fast when you're in shape, which for me, there's no better feeling, right, than running really fast when you're in shape. But the flip side, right, what you would call the shadow side of red is anxiety, right? All of that passion and that fervor with nowhere to go leads me to anxiety. So the way out of that, right, the way to keep it in passion and fervor and excitement is to act on it. And so I think that this is just so interesting that it's like, what are you passionate about? What gets your juices flowing? What gets you really excited? You, Karen, who's in this grounded state, who's in this like, and how do I meld the two and take forward action? And I am totally projecting onto you, but I'm going to tell you, so this is me slipping out of intuitive artist mode to like friend mode. And like, what is coming to me is that thing I asked you to bring up, right? This thing that Karen read to me once that, it was an experiment another one of our friends had. It was like a fill in the blank, and we all filled in the blanks. And Karen, when she read hers out loud, my heart wanted to explode. I was like raising my hand. You're my person. I am in your tribe. Karen, what do you want to sell me? And so I'm not telling you it has to be that. I'm telling you that that came out of what am I passionate about? What gets my juices flowing? And you present in such a grounded way. And so anyways, something with that feeling is your answer. So having heard all that, what has come up for you?
It's interesting because what helps me to be grounded and aligned and so on is nature. And that's not directly available at this point. And so, and yet that's what came up, right? And one of the things that I have been playing with is let go of the I'm a business coach and I can help you design your strategy and I can help you with all your tech stuff, and get much more focused on the inner work and actually helping others to have that level of alignment, and potentially doing that through a nature retreat, an adventure retreat, which would be very grounded and definitely lights me up. I'm passionate about that. And it also lets me go straight to the passion. Like I don't have to worm my way through somebody else's productivity tools and let me show you how to tag your to-do entries so that you don't hate them and stuff like that. It's like, let's talk to the person who realizes what needs to be done based on what's sourced. So, so that's kind of where it leads me, is like, yeah, all of these, most of these other things that I've created, that I feel like I have a messy craft room with all of these creations just laying all over the floor, going, yeah, but I did that. And it feels like in some way building this experiential container that has very minimal direction. It's kind of like an unretreat where the toys are all there on the floor. Pick up the ones you want to play with and go from there. So that's kind of what it feels like it's pointing to. Yeah.
This is just what I have to say.
And what a better time to plan something like that. Everyone's yearning for more travel and freedom and nature right now. So that would be really fun to investigate and look for and sell right now too.
Yeah. I love it because when Karen joins Zoom, so I love you, Karen, because you are so Rachel and I talk a lot about this idea of being full of ourselves in the good way, being filled up with ourselves. And you are so filled up with yourself. Like, when I grow up, I want to be as full of myself as you. And the idea of just hanging with you and playing and being in your wisdom, like experiencing, just marinating in your energy and in nature and with all, because you have so much in here, right? So you're saying, oh, this productivity toy and this intuition toy and this, I mean, that feels amazing. And I was trying to remember the image that I had of you, and I realized I think it's when you join Zoom. So the image that when you join Zoom, it's like you holding fire or something. It's you, I see you as like this fire dancer and this like, yes to everything that you just said. And could you plan an unretreat now in this time where everyone wants a retreat and no one can have one, right? Like,
there are ways, because I've been on experiential things and then it's like rained. And so the person, the shaman that I was working with, had things from his own medicine bag. And I could mail people a little medicine bag with a rock, a feather, a da 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 da, and have them lay them on the floor in their office and go for a walk.
There's some magic there.
Yeah. And Carrie and I just had a coaching call yesterday with our full expression mastermind. And we were talking about, this idea of just do what you want. Like, don't worry about the rest of the stuff that has momentum that you write on your to-do list. Just do this. Like, do what comes up for you now. Do the most exciting thing. So we're just giving you full permission to go ahead with this no matter what.
And think about our drawings, aligned and strategic and grounded and action, ticking all the boxes, right? Like, and whether that unretreat is as simple as, okay, we're going to start. The unretreat is a week long, and we start on night one and we play the game. And then, our mutual friend, Jean, right, does these quests, but they're 5-day experiences that they require a certain level of commitment, but freaking magic happens in the process, right? And that is what you could easily bring to your people virtually now, in person when it's socially allowed.
Right.
Oh, Karen. Yeah. So how was this for you?
I said I was open to dropping all the structures. It feels a little left fieldish, a little oh my goodness, there's a lot to do to build that, and yet it sounds like fun. It sounds like more fun than, oh, I should probably join groups on LinkedIn and start participating in conversations so I can get myself known. And when that one came up on the list, I was like, no. So that was my clue that I was on the wrong path. And this feels like active, but not with that resistance under it. So, yeah.
Perfect. Sounds like alignment to me.
Right? Yeah. Active without resistance. That sounds good.
That's awesome.
That sounds amazing. All right. So here's the deal. Everybody who's watching this, who has heard me tease Karen's F-bomb thing, I think you're going to have to wait for it because I can tell from her face she's not quite ready to go public. So I'm going to close out this meeting so that Karen can read it to me and Rachel, and we can get all fired up about it. So stay tuned and join Karen's world. So all of the ways that you can do that are listed somewhere around here, I'm sure, but probably the fastest way is to visit her website, which is karenjoyfritz.com. Again, the links are all around. Her Facebook, her LinkedIn, her Path Game Club are all somewhere near this video. Karen, thank you so much for playing. It was so fun.
Thank you. I'm loving the insight and the gentleness and playfulness with which it can arrive.
I just love basking in your energy. I can't wait to go on one of your unretreats, virtually or otherwise.
Yeah.
And here's what I'm betting. I'm betting many of the people watching this are like, where's the link for that? So, because these don't come out right away. So,
Okay.
So maybe the link for that already exists somewhere around this video. We'll let you know.
Could be.
All right. Thanks so much, Rachel, for just bringing your wisdom and your insight as always. Thanks, Karen, for being the incredible you. And thank you, viewers, for watching. We'll see you on the next episode of Intuitive Art with Influencers. And as always, if you want to join our world, head on over to intuitiveart.com and check out everything we've got going on over there. All right. Talk to you later, guys.
Bye.